Hello, welcome back to my channel. Again, this is Joe Brent, so yours truly. So before I'll do my discussions, I would like to say hi to all my subscribers. Thank you so much for watching all my videos, for sending your likes, comments, for subscribing. So it means a lot to me. Thank you so much for doing that. I hope we will be able to reach a lot of viewers. So today I'll be discussing another video lesson. So this video was posted 4 years ago, so I need to update a new version of this lesson. So I'll be discussing the latest version for my lesson 2. So this is the recent one, the 2023 book, the latest book for understanding the self. So we will be discussing about the social and cultural view of the self. So sociology is the science of society and institution. So it is important for us to study society and its institutions, structures, and processes because it helps us understand the various aspects of our social world. So the way you see yourself possibly affect by your social world. The group that you belong to, the members that you belong to, so it possibly affects how you understand yourself. So in this lesson, you will examine how society and culture help shape your identity and personality. So we should learn from various sociologists. So they explain to us the importance of understanding yourself in relation to your social and cultural view. So we have the first one. We have George Herbert Mead. Mead discusses about the social self. The number 2 sociologist is Gert Hofstede. He studied about individualism versus collectivism. The third sociologist is Irving Goffman. He studied self-presentation theory. The fourth is Henry Teifel and John Turner. They studied the social identity theory. The fifth is Leon Festinger. He studied the social comparison theory. And the sixth sociologist is Charles Cooley. He studied the looking glass theory. So the self and the self. So what's wrong with the self and the society? Society is a group of people who live in a defined geographical area, interact with one another, and share a common culture. People within society learn various skills, values, beliefs, and behaviors patterned to the process of socialization. Here in the Philippines, we are so good with socializing other people. We are good at influencing each other. So we interact. We love to interact. We love to talk. We love to be with them, to spend time with them. So we have a very strong socialization. So that's a good thing. Okay, but we should also be careful in knowing our interaction with others, because again, society helps us in the development of the self, because the group you belong to influences how you see yourself and how others see you. That's why we should bear in mind that our society possibly shape us. You identify yourself based on the group that you belong to. So if you belong to this group, possibly you see yourself as part of this group, and people also see you as part of that group based on your values or belief that you have in yourself. So we are influencing each other. But sad to say, when you are since we are interacting and influencing each other, so we should be careful on the people that we interact, because possibly it gives us a positive, luckily it's positive, but on the other side, there's also a negative impact. So these agents of socializations make up your identity. You have your family, your school, your peer group, mass media, religion. So we are influenced by these agents of socializations. And we cannot hide these agents. We cannot ignore these things. These are all important, right? The way I understand myself, I acquire this understanding based on how I process the idea of socialization. As they say, I am very choosy in choosing my friends. I am very selective. Well, that's part of knowing myself because I need to know myself more. So if I am not comfortable talking to this group of people, so I try to detach myself to them and look for another group to whom I see myself, or I can blend in, or I can be with them. I am comfortable talking to them. So I think that's part of our socialization process. And for me, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, number one is George Herbert Mead, the social self. So Mead was an American sociologist, a philosopher and psychologist, and the founder of social psychology. So he is considered the father of symbolic interactionism. When you talk about symbolic interactionism, meaning how you see other people, possibly you will apply that to yourself. So that's symbolic. What you see, you apply it to yourself. So Mead believed that socialization is crucial to the development of the self. Yes. Why it's crucial? Because it shapes you, it develops you. It is just so fortunate when people are developing in a good way. It's good. But how about others who are developing in a negative way? So that's why it's crucial. You need to choose. Okay, so Mead believed that socialization is crucial to the development of the self. Hence, the self is the result of processes of interaction. So the way you see yourself, the way you dress, the way you interact, the way you talk, your language, everything possibly is the result of processes of interaction. So according to Mead, the self is not inborn. According to him, the self is not inborn. It develops through time from social interactions and experiences. So all the things that you experience, possibly that is a result of how you understand yourself now. It develops through time. So it is not inborn. These experiences are possible through the aid of language and other symbols. So if you are a loving person, so possibly you experience a good environment, a loving environment. That's why you also see yourself as being loving and kind person. So it's symbolic. What they see, what you see from others, especially if you see that loving environment from your family, from your friends, so possibly you can apply that. So that is symbolic. So symbolic interactionism theory, this theory gives the importance of language and other symbols in human interactions. It explains how communication is impossible without the aid of words, gestures, and symbols with a common meaning. However, we interpret words, symbols, and experiences differently depending on other people's reaction to our use of words. So that's why Mead is very careful with using your language, because when you speak bad words, for example, when you speak bad words to your siblings, so possibly your younger siblings will follow the way you speak, your language. So whatever you do, for example, if you are drinking alcoholic things and your sister see you doing something like that, so there's a possibility that your sister will also follow, because that is symbolic. What he sees, he follows. Okay, so that is symbolic interactionism theory. So let's be careful with our words. Be careful with the things that you utter, because it is possibly you can influence others for doing that also. Okay, so that's the idea. So we interpret different meanings, different symbols, depending on how you absorb the idea and how you apply it to yourself. Okay, symbols are universal. They do not carry an absolute definition. This explains how common words have various meaning depending on the person, place, or context. So again, symbols, they are universal. So there is no concrete definition. That's why as a teacher, I am very careful with my words, because I do not want my students to follow my words, especially if I tried not to speak any bad words when I speak, because for me, it is a reflection of myself. It is a reflection of how I see myself. And even if I am human. When I feel so disappointed, angry, or something, I do not speak. I do not utter any words. That means I'm not happy with my students, but I tried not to hurt their feelings. I do not want them to. I want them to, despite of our differences, I want them to always respect each other's point of view. So this explains how our words are very important in establishing relationship with others. So Mead suggests that the self progresses through three stages. We have the preparatory stage, the play stage, and the game stage. So we have three stages. The preparatory stage, at this stage, children mimic adult behavior. So that's why if we have kids, we should be careful in our behavior because children follows what they see on their parents. So children in this period have no understanding of the concept of right and wrong. Yes, that's why if you are married, if you have kids, if you encounter something disagreement between you and your husband, so we should always be mindful that the kids are there, so we should keep it in private so that they won't feel that, they won't follow that because they don't understand anything at all because they are still young. So parents and immediate family members play a crucial role in being excellent example for children. Number 2 is the play stage. At this stage, children role play and experience independence in doing specific tasks. When I was still young, I loved to play Bahay Kubo. And I love to play selling, right? Just a role play. So I have this candies and then they will pay me money. So it's a bit of role play, which is good thing. Now I am still selling. I have my mom has its own sari store, and then I helped, and I love doing that. So possibly it affects me. Possibly it plays a great role in my understanding about doing business, something like that. So role playing helps the development of the self by allowing children to take on various roles. So in my discussions while I'm doing lecture, I always make it a point that my students are also doing role play because it helps the development of the self. It will play a strong implication to the life of my students. So they will try to take on various roles, which is for me it's a good activity. Children become capable of role talking, which reflects their expanding awareness of the importance of social relationship. So that is the play stage. We play, we take some roles, and it helps us develop. It helps development of the self. The third one is the game stage. The game stage is during this stage, children learn to consider multiple roles simultaneously and how the roles interact. They gain an understanding of interactions involving different people with different objectives. So the game stage means that children learn to consider multiple roles simultaneously. And they gain an understanding of interactions involving different people with different objectives. So they try to mingle with people with different behaviors, different personalities, different objectives. So that's the game stage. So again, if you are good at doing the preparatory stage, the play stage, I think you wouldn't find it hard to also do the game stage. We take so many tasks like multitasking. You do this, you do that, you manage your time, you do this assignment, you play. So it's all about multiple roles. You wash the dishes. So that's part of game stage. For me, it's the real thing. It's the real thing. Okay, so role taking, identification, and internalization continue as the child extends the range of a social relationship. So as we grow older, we identify ourselves better, we internalize things, we take so many roles. So it expands our social relations. It brings us to a more matured individual. It brings the best in us. We are taking so many roles, like we work, we provide food, we send our kids to school. So multiple roles. That is That is part of expanding our horizon. So that is as we develop the capacity to take on the role of others, to self-develop. So the more roles you take in, you internalize, the more you develop. And that's why we need to take on many roles, although it's hard. But again, that's part of developing yourself more and better. So the order in this context refers to our relationship with others. So the more you take in so many roles, the more you become so equipped with a lot of things, so diverse. So you are so good with all things. You can manage yourself more. You can manage things even if you're alone. So there are two types of others. We have the significant other and the generalized other. So aside from dealing ourselves, we also have the two types of others. So we need other people, according to Mead. It's part of socialization. Significant other. A significant other is someone we know and who exercises a certain degree of influence on us. So who are your significant others? Your parents, your husband, your wife, your kids. So someone we know, your friends who influences. Our parents brings a lot of influences on us. So they are part of our significant other. So number two is this generalized other. A generalized other refers to the idea of expectation that others have about his or her actions and behaviors in a particular situation. Okay, who are this generalized other? So a generalized other refers to the idea of the expectation that others have about his or her action. For example, generalized other, meaning I can give an example as my supervisor, my head. So he is part of my generalized other. So you have to do this, you have to do that, my expectation is this, you have to take this role. So they are more part of my generalized other. So number two, sociologists, we have Charles Cooley, the looking glass theory. So Cooley was an American social psychologist, sociologist, and educator. Cooley believed that our sense of self is influenced and affected by how others view us. So the way I see myself is affected by other people, how they see me, how they view me as a person. So it affects. So the looking glass self is defined as how you assess yourself based on how onlookers see you, like your friends, your parents, your strangers, other people. So how it affects you. That's the looking glass theory. You use other people's reaction as your mirror to confirm your self-identity. When they see me as this person, so possibly it affects me. I value that. I mirror that. People see me like this, so I have to do this. That's the looking glass self. It is believing that you are beautiful because most people have told you so. So when people are telling me that I am beautiful, then I am beautiful because that is the looking glass theory. I value what other people see me. So that is the onlookers. So if they see me as brilliant, a smart kid, so I would put that to myself. Yes, I am smart because other people have told me so. Or you are so trustworthy because most people trust you. So you rely on others. You rely on others and you apply it to yourself as your self-identity. So the core example